I always thought working at a call center was the epitome of mundane, endless hours of customer service and scripted conversations. That was until I started receiving calls from numbers that shouldn't exist. It began as a normal shift, the usual complaints about service interruptions and billing errors. Then, one night, a call came through from my grandmother's old number. She had passed away 5 years ago, and her phone had long been disconnected. My heart skipped a beat, and a cold shiver ran down my spine. I hesitated but eventually answered, only to hear her voice, as clear as ever, pleading for help in a way that made my blood run cold. As weeks went on, more calls from deceased relatives started pouring in, each one more desperate than the last. My father, who had passed away in a car accident, begged me to prevent a tragedy that had already unfolded years ago. My sister, who had succumbed to illness, asked me to save her from an unseen danger. Each call left me with a chilling sense of dread, as if the air around me had turned to ice. I tried to rationalize it, thinking maybe it was a cruel prank or some twisted glitch in the system. But the voices were too familiar, too real. It felt as if they were reaching out from beyond the grave, trapped in some purgatorial call center of their own. Driven by fear and curiosity, I began to investigate, digging through old records and speaking with colleagues. It turned out that I wasn't the first employee to experience this. Others had quit suddenly, refusing to speak of what they had heard. I discovered a pattern: each person who received these calls had lost loved ones in tragic, unresolved ways. The calls were more than just eerie echoes from the past, they were cries for help, each one an attempt to warn us of something we couldn't comprehend. My searches led me to a dusty basement archive where I found an old, forgotten switchboard, its wires tangled like a nest of serpents. In the final act of desperation, I connected the switchboard, hoping for answers. The lights flickered, and the room was plunged into a dim, eerie glow. The phone rang, and I answered with a trembling hand. It was my grandmother again, her voice now clear and resolute. She told me that the calls were a warning, a gateway to something dark and malevolent. As her voice faded, the room filled with whispers from countless others, all urging me to sever the connection. With a deep breath, I yanked the cords free, and the whispers ceased. The air felt lighter, but I knew the calls had left a permanent mark on my soul. I quit the next day, leaving behind the haunted echoes of the switchboard and the chilling realization that some calls should never be answered.